Well, how 100 children to do? This year the Queen Quet, head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. So glad that 100 to tune in one more again for zooming in on sustainability. Yeah, I know y'all ain't used to seeing all this grass around me and me being part of them and things like that. But we want to take this year lens in on Gwine Green. But we always like to pay homage before we get ready for going on the show and bring on we guests. So today, we just want to say we want to take a moment of silence for Mother Earth. That if we take care of Mama Earth going to take care of we. And all of we going to be able to sustain just who we be. So let we pause and take a moment of silence. Ashe, 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 Dwau. So, I'm so glad it is your day. For had this your Gullah Geechee woman with me on the broadcast and things like that. This your gal come from Johns Island, South Kakalaki, right here in the Gullah Geechee Nation. If 100 children be keeping up with me broadcast, you know it is 20 years of the Gullah Geechee Nation. So you talk about sustainability. Yeah, sustaining we self-sufficiency and self-determination ain't no easy thing. Sometimes it seems like at them church say you're going into the weeds, because you're trying to get down to really the root of where the issue but bring out waiter, and then Hunter can heal from. So you can't talk about healing if Hunter ain't want to get literally to the root of the problem. Now Hunter always have me say, Hunter must take care of the root for heal the tree. So today we gotta get to the root of who we be, and then we gonna see if we heal this Gullah Geechee family tree and the global African family and get we into sustaining that healing power. So at this hour, I want to bring on Sister Khetnu. Hete Poo, Khetnu, how wanted to do?
Hete Poo, Queen. I write ya, no complaints,
I see, gal. You see, I go into your closet. You see, I go to her closet to teeth up one thing for where today. You see that? You see that? Yeah.
Okay.
Hot as it is. I say, I got to throw this on for my gal, right? Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So many of my viewers may not know, but Nefer, she is the proprietor, the founder, the healer for Soulful Touch Wellness. I don't know how many decades we've been journeying together in this life, in the past life, and probably the afterlife. We'll be doing that. But it just seemed like our spirits linked the first time we ever connected. And I just remember us sharing a chair down in Fort Lauderdale, where she was at that time. She had escaped from the Gullah Geechee Nation, gone south for more freedom. That's how they gather to us. And so we took the Gullah Geechee Nation International Music and Movement Festival there. She said, oh, Queen, I could finally see you because I live here. And so she came, we sat, we shared a chair. Since then, I have shared her massage chair. She is a masseuse. And I guess that's the right word for male and female. You correct me in a minute if it's not. But she definitely is a healer. She has started the Gullah Geechee Doula Association. She started this year, you see what I'm wearing right here, the Gullah Geechee Herbal Conference, Herbal Gathering. And so, Khetnu, I just want you to know, you ain't gonna be the only one in here with no herb and thing. I have any choice, not I got my aunt today too now. You ain't gonna just be the only one in here with herb and thing. So I just want you to know, I've been ready. I'm ready. We out here. I'm ready, girl. And look what I got. See, you ain't know nothing with this year. You ain't know nothing with this year for a soulful touch. You ain't know nothing with that. See that? So yes, wherever you are, she can mail to you herbs that definitely come from the root of our culture and our tradition. So coming from Johns Island, South Kakalaki, what made you do this? I know some people say, oh, you must have root on and thing like that. What made you do this? Did you decide it? Or did the spirit decide for you, Khetnu?
Spirit decided for me. Mm-hmm. My maternal grandmother, Victoria Thelma Murray, from Johns Island, and she was a community herbalist. I didn't know that at the time because going foraging with her in the woods for our life everlasting and nettles and all the things that we still use to this day. In the Gullah Geechee Nation for our own healing, but that's something that she did naturally. And as Gullah Geechee people, we always have lived off of the land and sustainable, and we were eco before it was in vogue.
Trendy.
So
Before
yeah,
it was trendy.
before it was trendy. This is our lifestyle.
That's what we do.
And so,
Right.
yeah. So little girl, 4 or 5, foraging with her because she used to keep me from my mom. And so where she went, I had to go. So we, trekking in the woods, gathering herbs and stuff. And I would watch her make different tinctures and teas and stuff for people. At the time, like I said, I was, a little girl, so I didn't know exactly what she was doing. And I wish I could have retained some of that knowledge,
I know that's
in hindsight. But, it is intrinsically in my DNA. So I feel like it just kind of led on. And then, just kept on with it and felt that push to do healing work, period. So, just coming from that lineage and knowing that it was something that I am now preserving, in my bloodline.
Absolutely. So really, the spirit decided, but where you say you wish you had retained it, you really did. Because, as part of our tradition, people do not take you to do that kind of work unless they feel essentially you have a mantle. So I know that even with my mom knows a lot about trees and herbs and bushes and stuff. Don't let nothing happen. She just leave out the house. And then she come back with a handful of stuff and boil it and then drink this. It's like, what is it? Don't ask me so much a question. Drink them. Right? That kind of thing. And I remember one day somebody had the mistake of saying they had a toothache around her, and she again off the porch, broke something off, came back and said, chew on this. And he chewed on it, and I hear nothing else about no toothache. And so over the years, I started being that, I'm always that person, as you know, that has the questions. But what is that? Why? What does it do? Where you get it from? What it look like? Because don't just be giving me something. I want to see, And so gradually over time, I would do just like you, go with her and then see what it was that she's getting. And then try to start to understand it, because I'm a scientist. I'm really curious about, well, why we use this for this versus that for that, and starting to, like you said, retain it, to start making a real conscious effort to know, so that we won't lose this as the generations go on. Because one of the things, I guess you may have found this out when you really took to heart, this is what you were going to do, is be a healer. Did you find that it was more difficult now to find the herbs that were easy to find when you was little? Because I know I started finding that out.
Yeah, actually, I just went home this past weekend. I now live in DC for the viewers, but we just went to Johns Island this weekend. I had to lay eyes on my mom and my people and them with this COVID stuff. So, so we kind of sat down and we actually went foraging a little bit. And a lot of the things that were very prevalent, even on the island, aren't there. And we went to James Island as well. We did some visiting on Mosquito Beach with Sister Giovanni. And we went and talked with one of the elders. And she was saying that, Life Everlasting used to just grow in her backyard. She's like, you could just have your fill of it and, some other herbs. And she was saying that she noticed more and more that they were less and less. Right. And it's a combination of what they're spraying for the mosquitoes and, some other things. And so, yeah, it's not as prevalent as it used to be. And that's part of the reason why I started the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering, so that we could start preserving this information, because not only are the plants dying out, but the
knowledge base is dying out, because
the elders with the knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, and so and a lot of people, my generation and younger, aren't really interested in, keeping that up. And some of them are still doing this stuff, but they're not realizing why. It's just that, generational pass down. But we have to document and preserve this, so that, future generations will know this is what we did. Even if the herbs are no longer available, we can at least know that this was once used and why it was used. And, and possibly, start a seed reserve so that we could still have those
those things. And that's what's important, is having that seed reserve, and even that seed reserve, knowing that it is the elders and those of us who carry a certain mantle that are the repositories for the information. Because another thing that's dangerous is Kwame Shah and I, who many of you watch the show, have seen him on here twice. We discussed, don't give away your golden tortoise. So one of the ways that people destroy cultural communities like ours is by us telling them our sacred things. I'll give you two prime examples as fictional movies that are really real, though, is Avatar and Black Panther. Those two movies, I said, those movies are actually about the Gullah Geechee Nation, because there are certain things that people are always trying to find out about us, about our spirituality, and our herbal practices are connected to that spirituality. I don't discuss it. Period. If it's not amongst groups of Gullah Geechees, I don't get into details about it. But I wanted to have you on here because at such a time as this, where we are dealing with, as you just mentioned, you mentioned the nice word, we call a Rona running wrong and thing like that. The going back to old landmark, getting our people back to these traditions and herbs, respecting the elders enough that let the elders tell you what it is. You can't Google this. And you can't go on little Facebook groups and just say, oh, we're all root workers now, and then you're root workers now. That's not how that works. And somebody's going to get hurt. They're going to hurt somebody. People are selling a lot of misleading stuff. I've been seeing a whole bunch of nonsense, especially since Rona has been going on. So how have you been dealing with that? And I know that also you have expanded what you are offering right now, because most of your practice I'm familiar with is what we're used to, laying on the hands. It's being there to touch people, like you said, it's being there to see people for real, to lay your eye upon them and things like that, and to rejuvenate yourself and keep balance. How are you doing all of that when I understand now that you are also engaging with other veterans and you're offering some healing that way? How are you doing that virtually when we're used to being kind of touchy-feely people?
Yeah, well, it's been interesting. So Zoom and other video platforms and just one-on-one videos with my clients and stuff like that. Sometimes just a phone call, because most of my client base here in DC are elders. They're like 70 and up. They ain't even 65. They're like 70, 80. One of my clients is almost 90. So, you know, having to, because especially when it first popped off, you know, they was like, I still want my monthly massage. I don't care what them people talk about. And I'm like, Miss Johnson, I can't come right now. They saying, you know, we need to quarantine, you know, and I just didn't want to take that chance morally, you know, knowing that I didn't have anything or anything like that, but still just, you know, we can be asymptomatic with it, and, you know, traveling, and being that my business is mobile, so I'm going from one person's home, another one, offices, absolutely, and all of that. So I just had to be mindful of that. So I've been calling and checking in on them. You know, I've had to pivot the business. As you can see, I do like 50,000 things. Yeah, that's not even on this banner, but not even there. Right?
I thought the banner just kept rolling onto the floor, is what I thought.
Yeah, it does, and then, you know, and so, but so like the hands-on things, I'm not able to do well. DC just opened back up for massages and things like that. I still haven't reopened my business because, one, I just came from South Carolina and they're asking people to self-quarantine if you visit hotspots. But, you know, just holistic health consultations online, telephone calls, and just, you know, pivoting the business more on to some of the other things that I'm certified in, the herbal teas, as you mentioned, you know, writing books and doing all kinds of stuff. So there's different ways to disseminate the knowledge and the information until I can do the hands-on things again. But people know, you know, the type of work that we do. And, you know, me and my partner, we're both herbalists, and so we've been really digging deep into the community that way, and you know, donating herbs to different organizations and stuff like that for the protesters, and some of the mental health stuff, because a lot of people are dealing with a lot of fear and anxiety with all the propaganda that's being put out there with the Rona. And so, you know, just making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and not allowing all of this to, you know, overwhelm us, because we were already overwhelmed. As it was. Racism existed before this,
Exactly.
racism still exists during this, and then
Right.
adding on this actual virus, it just kind of exacerbates the problem that we were already seeing,
Yeah.
and especially the African American community, in addition to the Gullah Geechee community. So
Right.
our main goal now is to get people healthier now that they're stationary and we're kind of in this great pause together, is now making them focus on healing the diabetes and the high blood
Yes.
pressure and all of that other
Yes.
stuff,
The
because
trifecta. Yes.
yeah, and now is the time to pay attention to that, because you don't have the excuse of I got to rush to work because you working from
Right.
home, or
Right.
the different excuses that we've had to not take care of ourselves. So now is the time to do this, because if you don't, you're making yourself a lot more susceptible
To
to
it. Right.
to
To this and
getting it,
more things.
and more and
Exactly.
more, because I'm
Right.
sure there's something else
Exactly.
coming.
That they got coming down the pipe. Now
Right.
let you mention something that's critical that might help people that say, well, I'm not good at figuring this out by myself, though. I'm not a person that can stay on my schedules or start up an exercise regimen and then I stop. And all that's part of healing and keeping that balance and keeping your immune system built up. But you mentioned the book. You mentioned the book, writing books, but you already have your first book out here. And I know you have a workbook as well. Why don't you tell folks about the book and how in 28 days there are steps that you've already outlined, especially for sisters to be able to use, for women to be able to use in their lives so that they can get on track. If they haven't over since March, man's growing up in you and things like that, or
Mm-hmm.
their nerves are shook because of what you said. The propaganda engine is constantly churning out the negative. We got to keep our bodies on the positive. We got to keep our minds meditating on the good things. So there are those good things, but sometimes we need to journal, we need to talk, we need to make some movements that will help that happen. So that's something that even at a distance, people can still get some healing from you, because you mailing the books out still, right? And the
Yes,
workbooks?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So the book basically is just a healing guide. So I don't give you like herbal suggestions or anything like that. That book is coming, but this is just to help you get your mind right first. And I feel like that's, some people put body, mind, spirit, but I always put the mind first, mind, body, spirit. Because
Right.
once you get your mind right, the body's going to fall into alignment, and then the spirit is going to soar.
Yes.
So this has 28 daily lessons. It has an affirmation. It has a daily reflection prompt to help you really dig deep and, either excavate some of those things that you need to
Right.
work on that you may have suppressed for a long
For
time,
a long
or
time.
it may help to elevate you and helping you to see some things that you may have not necessarily been aware of that you were doing that has been detrimental to your well-being. So it's just it's a quick read. Like some people do it in a day and then they go back and do the daily prompts, but you can read it in a day. But the goal is for you to go in and really dig deep, and do the lesson, and then the action step. There's an affirmation with it every day and all of that. And so where the workbook, where the guided journal comes in, is that it has the reflection prompts, and then it also has a daily self-care tip that's different from the book. And
Mm-hmm.
then it also has a daily check-in. And I feel like some people aren't
Nice.
even doing that anymore. So you can have a daily check-in, so you can write what you're grateful for, what you enjoyed about today, the
Right.
thought of the day, today's breakthrough, because we tend to focus on the negative and not focusing and being present in right now. So it just
Right.
helps you to be more grateful and more present, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's necessary first and foremost when we're dealing with our health, no matter what the issue is.
What is
Because
happening? Right.
yeah,
Right.
we can focus on the aches and pains and all of that, but you're still moving. You're still able to move. But think about the person who no longer has that ability. You know what I'm
Ability.
saying? So being
Right.
grateful for that. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's just one of the tools that I've instituted to help people. I didn't think the Rona was coming. I had no
And
idea, but I feel
ain't
like this
nothing
is
we
a
can
great
cover on.
tool, yeah, to help people navigate this, in addition to learning other things. And so I do, like I said before, I do offer holistic health counseling and
Yeah.
coaching, and you do get a regimen. You know what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah.
need that guidance, if you need that hand up, I'm willing to do that for you, and I check in with you. We do weekly check-ins if you need that, and say, hey, I was drinking the juice, but I ain't like how that one tastes. You got another one, or you know, I like exercising, but walking ain't my thing. Can I jump rope? Can I hula hoop? Can I, you know what I'm saying? So just giving people that, especially women, you know, that outlet to have someone who can assist them and not feel like you have to do it all alone because
by
you don't.
yourself.
And there's there's so many resources out here, not just me, but you know, there's other holistic health practitioners and you know, other people out here who can assist you. But the thing is to ask for help, and that's one of the lessons in the book is to ask for help. You know, suffering in silence isn't cute, and it doesn't help you at all. Like you really don't get to that next level where you want to be when no one knows that you need help. And so I feel like as Black women, sometimes we become martyrs in that how much pain and struggle we endure.
Oh yeah.
It's like, and that's not a badge of honor.
It's not a good thing, and it's not a badge of honor for real.
Right, especially when you can get the help that you need, so that way you can not be the victim and say, well, nobody wouldn't help me. But who knew you needed help if you didn't say anything?
Exactly. Now you dramatic, and now we all looking where we could have helped you had you given us an arrow pointing to the situation earlier on. And like scripture tells us, ye have not because ye ask not. So if you don't ask us and say anything, we can't help. And I mean, there's so many ways to do that now. People on the telephone, you're texting, you're on Zoom, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter. Even if you put on Facebook, help, please, people will start really literally hitting.
What's going on? What's wrong with you? What's happening?
What's going on, gal? What, you all right? Look out. Hold on, I hand up here. I can pray for you right now. Look out. Okay, so for real, I mean, it's serious. It's a serious matter, and there's too many of us that we're losing and have been losing, not because of Corona, but because of stress. Because we're internalizing all this stuff. And like you said, we try and look like that Atlas statue. We carrying the world on our back and on our shoulders because we're Black women and we can do it. Look, yeah, you could do it, but for how long?
Right.
Okay. So yeah, that song, yeah, you could do it, put your back into it, but we don't want you to break your back down trying to carry the whole world when all of we right y'all, and we could have carried a basket together. You could have said, gal, I tired, bring a basket, y'all. I gonna carry the basket, I gonna carry the basket, I throw the basket up here for a little while, then Khetnu cam a little while and thing like that. You ain't have a cam by yourself. Okay.
Right.
So definitely, like you mentioned, and definitely we want folks to reach out to you at soulfultouch.com. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, soulfultouch.com. Y'all can order the book. You can order the workbook. I'm gonna end up ordering the workbook for a group of ladies that I work with. You can also get the different healing opportunities. You can be on some of the Zoom calls that Khetnu is doing and the check-ins individually she's talking about. Just become one of her clients. If you really want that extra help and that healing, this is an opportunity, and to get it from someone who literally is Gullah Geechee, who comes from a family line of healers. That's why y'all see me sometime. I'm very hard on folks that's out here who are not Gullah Geechee, who claim to have written books that are out there about our practices, because actually what a lot of Native Gullah Geechees did was gave them misinformation so that they did not give away our golden tortoise. So when you look in their books, there's a lot of erroneous stuff we would never ingest is in there, saying you can make a tea out of it. Stuff that pictures are drawn and say it's life everlasting, and it's actually like an oak tree or something. It's not that. And all to throw you off so that in academia, they wouldn't take from us our vibranium, bottom line, okay? And so there are certain vibrational energies that go with healing. And so that's why you go to certain people and not to everybody, to have them lay hands on you or even to spiritually engage with you, even in this virtual way that we are doing at this time. And so you definitely don't want to just jump on folks because they just starting up something new and trying to just make money off you like infomercials. You want to know that people have been holding a mantle and been holding this up long before this day came. And what I loved was when I got your book, Khetnu, I haven't gotten the workbook yet, but I saw you promoting it online. When I got your book, what I decided to do was to go back after I've read it the first time and read it alongside my books, Seeking Purpose, and this one in particular, Preparing for purpose-filled prosperity, because I found that there were overlapping points that I had emphasized with people, that if they wanted to be prosperous, they had to take care of their health first, right? And so I thought it was really interesting to be able to take the 28 days and go page by page, section by section with your book, look at a particular day, and then just read a section in my book and couple it and see how what you were saying as exercises fit so well with what I had encouraged people to do, that you can't just think that prosperity is about money. Your first prosperity is being healthy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be if you can't be a good steward of your body, you will be blessed with other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first and foremost. So like you want to manifest a house, but you're not taking care of this one, this shelter that you have already for your soul. So it's, you know, and it's just making it practical. I'm a very pragmatic person. So, you know, just making it practical and breaking down. That's why this book isn't 50,000 pages. Like I wanted it to be short and succinct and to the point, so that you can say, okay, dang, that makes sense. And I can do this right now when I close the book, you know? And so I'm honored, you know, that what I had is in alignment with what you have already done, you know, and it just makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Because when you are doing what you're supposed to do, it's going to fall into alignment. And so,
it does.
And that synchronicity is going to be recognized because, you know, it's there.
It's there. And as we say, try the spirit by the spirit. So that just goes full circle for me in the way your spirit and my spirit just linked from day one. And we haven't been separated since, and ain't nobody gonna get between we and thing like that. We didn't want to have to get out. We skin on thing I thought. Okay. so definitely, you know, it has been just a blessing to just watch you grow and to watch your company grow and to have people say, oh yes, I got stuff from Sister Khetnu, you know, and I'm like, yeah, that's my girl right there, you know. And then when you launched this, I mean, it was just such a blessing. I was sorry that as soon as I agreed to be, not soon as I agreed, but after I agreed and we were leading up to it, I got called to leave the country. And so I was actually out of the country when you had the conference and was flown back immediately, a day short of when I was supposed to come back because of Corona. And they were like, they about to tell people, if you stuck in another country, you about to stay there. So I'm supposed to like, no, Queen, we gonna get you out of here today. And I mean, I had an hour to get packed and get out, and they sent the car and got us back to the airport. And so I was like, oh man, I wish I could watch what they're doing, but I'm over here trying to help the people over here. And so, you know, it was really interesting, the whole whirlwind. But I was like, but look at what happened. You had that gathering right at the right time to gather in the healers, and then here came the pandemic. And so I know that the spirit is still leading you, it's leading me, it's leading us together to still continue for whole upon who we are and whole upon we culture and things like that, and have people really respect it and treasure it. It's not, and I wanted to make this clear, you cannot be a witch and a doctor. That's an oxymoron. Nobody's a witch and a doctor, okay? Because people like to say as soon as they hear of herbs, they think witch doctor because Hollywood did that. There's no witches here. We don't have no witches here. We have healers here, all right? And you're not going to be a witch and a doctor. Those two do two different things, okay? So people, that's outside people. That ain't a we. That ain't a we doing them kind of cracky thing like that. So some people, sometimes you tell them use herbs and healing, they immediately jump to some Hollywood stuff. That's not us.
Oh, you working roots. And it's like, if I was working roots, you would know.
Come on now.
So and that's the thing, you know, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to Spirit definitely led me to put this gathering together, because this was nothing I ever thought about doing. But once I was in the motion of doing it, you know, to dispel a lot of those myths about Gullah Geechee people and the work that we're doing and have been doing what the ancestors have laid upon, and even across the diaspora with Black and Indigenous people, you know, because with the Gullah Geechee people, we can't leave out, you know, our native family, because how the Seminoles and Cherokees and all of them embrace us as well. So
Sabo, Yamasee, Easto,
Yamasee, Kiowa, you know. So is, you know, thinking about all of them in addition to that, and wanting to have a space where we could come together and converge and learn from one another, and kind of away from the white gaze because they there, but at the same time just being mindful of, like you said, keeping our practices sacred and doing things for us by us, because I've attended several large herbal gatherings and was a minority. The largest was the American Herbalist Guilds conference, and I want to say there was 3,000 people there, and there might have been 10 Black people, and I was there on a scholarship. So just imagine how much people are, you know, disconnected from the knowledge and some of those things that they learned from Native people and were sharing with other people. So I wanted to have a place for us to do that for us, so that we don't always have to go outside of ourselves to learn information that's already innate within us, that sometimes we just need to tap into or just be reminded of when we hear it from somebody else.
Absolutely. And trust it when it comes from us as well. That is
and
safe.
Trust it. Yeah, that is safe.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, because sometimes it's our stuff, somebody else repackages it, and long as they tell it, it's okay. But we tell it, then it's some funny, scary thing. So no, this year who we be for truth, and this year for truly from the root. Okay. So I'm so glad that Khetnu, you did y'all go ahead, go to a soulfultouchwellness.com. You're also on Facebook, correct? And also Instagram and Twitter. What are your handles?
On Facebook, it's a Soulful Touch, facebook.com/a Soulful Touch. On Instagram, it's a Soulful Touch Wellness. And on Twitter, it's a Soulful Touch.
Excellent, excellent. So y'all make sure y'all follow Khetnu. Make sure that you get the book, get the workbook, get your own journal as well. If you want to get my books, says y'all probably say, oh, she held up her books. Where you get those at? Okay, go to gullahgeechee.biz, gullahgeechee.biz. And as Khetnu said, there are a number of different healers out here, especially in the Gullah Geechee community. And I'm going to also have some more of them on as guests on other episodes of this broadcast. So definitely continue to follow gullahgeechee.tv, gullahgeechee.tv, and gullahgeechenation.com, and you'll see when the various broadcasts are going to be coming up. And you can follow at Gullah Geechee on Twitter, at Gullah Geechee on Instagram, and we'd love to hear more about what you have to say, especially about with our guests today. And you can always email me after the broadcast if you feel like, oh, there was something you missed, or you want to get back in touch with the guest. Send me an email to gullgeeco@aol.com. So gullgeeco@aol.com. Yes, it's retro americaonline.com, but yep, gullgeeco@aol.com. And that way, if somehow you miss some of those links, or you say, well, oh, I'd like to know more, you can always email us. We'll email you back. I'll connect you with Khetnu. We do a lot of programming together. And so even though we're distancing, we're not disconnecting. So Khetnu, any positive words for the family before we go?
Yeah, definitely, you know, be mindful of what you're ingesting, not only with your mouths, but with your eyes and your ears. That's the first way to ensure your wellness. Just disconnect from the news, Facebook, social media, you know, because we're being bombarded, and the war now is on our sanity. You know what I'm saying? Fear is a powerful tool.
Yes, it is.
You know, and so be mindful is my first health tip for you. Be mindful and be present, and not and think for yourself. Like really connect the dots with everything that's being said and being done, and seeing the effects that it is having, not only on you as a person, but as the community and the world as a whole. This is a global plandemic. So
plandemic. Exactly. Plandemic. I like that.
So be mindful, and just take care of yourself. Put your literal and physical mask on first before you try to reach out and do other things for other people. And, you know, just know that we are going to come through this if we do those things first. And, you know, stay hydrated. You know, if you need information on herbs and things to do to kind of help bolster up your immune system and do some things, feel free to reach out to me and all of that. So I just want to wish you all the best, and just stay present and stay mindful. That's promise you, if you do those two things, it's going to shift your reality of what they're trying to create as our new normal, which isn't normal at all.
For true. Thank you, Khetnu, for all Hana do. And it's truly a soulful touch that you brought to zooming in on sustainability healing at the Gullah Geechee. So definitely y'all keep following GullahGeecheeNation.com. We have Khetnu, other guests, just positive, just a blessing to our community. That's still a whole pun we culture and thing like that. That we the binya, we in the guano with tall. So all the grass you see around me, we got plenty of it growing right now, but amidst it, sometimes there's some wonderful healing herbs out there, but you wouldn't know if you ain't been in for sure. So don't be out there just to pick up all kinds of things and put them in your mouth. Be careful. And so definitely there are a lot of concerns about that. And so we wanted to just get you kind of going and get you connected, get you linked, because this plandemic might be a long range plan. So you got to build up your endurance and be ready for it. And to do that, you got to get your immunes built up. You got to get your mind strong. You got to keep your spirit in power and centered at this hour. So peace and blessings to everybody. This year the Queen Quet head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. So glad you wanna tune in for zooming in. And I so glad that you stay with we celebrating Gullah Geechee 2020, 20 years of the Gullah Geechee Nation, still going strong. Whoop, whoop, that's right. Still going strong. We still out ya. And this is how we do them, because we to get me herbal tea. And I going for get me some right now. Y'all just ain't know, y'all boy ain't got you. I got mine right here. I got the water done boiled. I going. So peace and blessings, everybody. Hope you got some. Take a nice sip of tea for all of we. Peace and blessings.
One love and wellness.